Welcome and hello and hello and welcome and hello and welcome. Bienvenidos a todos. Happy belated Cinco de Mayo. Happy birthday to all my friends who had a birthday in late April. And I just couldn't be there to wish you a happy birthday. Frankly, I'm ashamed of myself, guys. But yeah, I had to take a little break from the old U-turd. Just been working myself into an early grave, working on a heart attack, working on an infarction, whatever you want to call it. Just working on taxes. It has been just an absolute Gruden grinder. I feel like Deuce Gruden. I feel like a guy who's like, 4'8", like squatting like 600 pounds, just basically built like a, small fire plug, that type of thing. If any of you guys are personal friends with Deuce Gruden like I am, you know what it's like to be, pummeled by a man who's under 5 feet tall. But anyway, no, we love some Deuce Gruden here at Un Poco Mas. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me. I've just been extremely tired, a bit weary, and just really haven't had time to do this bullshit. But anyway, I'm very happy to be back with you. It's the time of my life. It's an honor. It's an honor just to be nominated to be a U-turder. But when you actually realize your dream of spending a ton of time and money writing, subpar material for no return, just to be mocked, mercilessly about your weight issues or ADD or whatever you might be suffering from. But anyway, guys, my personal peccadillos aside, welcome and hello. Hello and welcome. Yes, I'm still chunky. I know many of you are going to point that out down in the comments. Haven't lost the baby weight yet, but any year now, they tell me, any year now. The sex vester is here. Rare is better than daily PS. Yeah, a lot of you guys were just completely sick of me and just indicated that I should take a, long walk off a short pier, jump out the nearest window, et cetera, et cetera. So I partially took your advice. And, spending some time in the islands, got caught up in the trade winds, ended up drifting away. I was caught on a small island with a volleyball, name of Wilson. No, I think that was a Tom Hanks movie. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello and welcome. I want to talk a little bit of Sofi today. It's, it's kind of the what got me into U-turding in the first place. Great stuff once again coming from the stock goat. I was watching, I was perplexed by now I don't know what they're calling SoFi Weekly now that my biological father, Anthony Noto, just dropped the hammer on the Canadian fin turd mafia. I think he got a little bit pissed off that, some of those guys got a little bit weak in the knees. And then the other night I was watching, great show. Steve Arena was back, the big sexy Fred Flintstone. His head was the shade of Pepto-Bismol or something. I've never seen anything quite like it, but he's basically arguing with Tanner, making the point that the technology side of SoFi is failing, and Tanner's making the point that I would make, which is, hey, the loan platform, this fee-based loan platform, this is technology. This is built by Galileo. This is definitely a technology company that builds this and makes these fees. And Steve's point seemed to be that because it wasn't categorized in the technology sector under the Galileo umbrella for, I guess, accounting purposes or whatever division, it meant that therefore meant SoFi is not a technology. I mean, Tanner was perplexed. The Roy and Tanner have exactly reverse hairlines, which throws me off a bit. I don't know how whoever's comb over gives in first is going to be the winner of a set of steak knives in a pool I'm running. But Tevis, it was a little bit hard to read because he's been a little on the bit. I think again, Noto was just annoyed, at the Canadian fin turd mafia. They've been teabagging Vlad so hard lately, and Robin Hood, and of course, I think some of them are still flogging PayPal, and I think PayPal's undervalued, quite frankly. And some of you, useless pustules, you sacks of shit, have been asking, what would I was buying Google today. I thought the drop was completely unwarranted. I think the multiples there just don't make any sense. Google makes a ton of money. They still have a dominant market position. The fact that Apple is going to integrate AI into their search should surprise absolutely no one. Everyone is integrating AI into their search. By the way, Google has a Gemini product, great AI. Microsoft has great AI. Meta has great AI. Apple's weak in AI, so they're implementing another, I guess, solution from some, pony furry. I guess they do furries, and they do it's like part of the furry community, but they're also doing AI. I think it's pony AI or furry AI or dress me up as Little Bo Peep and spank me AI, something along those lines. But anyway, guys, I think it's much ado about nothing. I think Google is building themselves to be future proof. And guys, let's be honest. I'm going to, pull my screen up. You're probably sick of looking at my mug. SoFi's up to $13. I mean, I want you chowderheads, you jabronis, you jamokes, you swinging dicks, again, you retarders. Like, this stock was $8.60 a month ago. It's moved 50% up in a month off of that wacky little low. It's free money. The volatility, they're giving you money. All you have to do, like, oh, SoFi has been a dead stock. Is just, I mean, this thing swung from 5 to 18, swings from 8. It's going to go back up. The chart's telling me it's going to go back up. More importantly, the fundamentals of this company are just incredibly strong. Hold on a sec, guys. I'll be right back with you. Well, hello and welcome me back. I don't know why I can't see my face at all. It's probably for the best, but if you guys want to see me, there I am. This whole thing, I don't know what the hell's going on with this. What did I do to my camera here? I have no idea. Oh yeah, let me try this. Maybe that's a little bit better angle. Anyway, welcome and hello, welcome back. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Sorry I haven't talked to you schmucks in so long, but bottom line is I just had far more important things to do. Every year around tax time, I have to just kind of buckle down, and then even with my wealthy so-and-so clients after tax time, they need a bunch of stuff, they need documentation. So I was trying to get out on a little vacay. After that, recharge the batteries a little bit, dip the old toes in the sand, and then come back and refreshed, relaxed, rejuvenated, as the G-Man, G. Gordon Liddy used to say, virile, vigorous, and potent. That was a weird radio show many years ago. The guy, Watergate guy, G. Gordon Liddy, had this radio show. It was just always talk about Mrs. Liddy. Just, I don't know. I think I used to listen to that with some guy I used to drive with, some horrible delivery job, driving this van. Jesus. Jobs I've had, they're horrible. What's up, Alberto Berti Avelez, the great Alberto Berti Avelez. Billy Jack's getting personalized 900 number calls from Billy Jack. So SoFi is doing a 900 number now where you call and they'll play a recording of Noto saying he's wearing a windbreaker, khaki slacks, his hair is perfect as usual, and he says adjusted EBITDA, and that's $5.95 a minute, and worth every penny. I think there's going to be great margins there. Mini waters, I'll tell you something, Carl Seamark, the Mattress King of Chicago, nothing like a delicious mini water to just partially quench the thirst. Mini waters when you're not that thirsty. By the way, guys, welcome and hello. It's DJ Patchy Drizzle, your old buddy. When you don't really want to get the party started, but you definitely want to get the party over with at a reasonable hour. It's DJ Patchy Drizzle. I'm available for all your octogenarian above birthday parties, available for all your nursing homes, available for funeral after parties, and not wakes. Nothing happy. No Irish wakes for DJ Patchy Drizzle. Anyway, welcome and hello, guys. Sorry if I'm a little bit scatterbrained. I haven't done this horrible show in a while, but SoFi on the day looking very, very strong. The algo has been all over this thing again, guys. Volume back up a little bit at 50 million shares. Let's take a look at the chart because I am the chart master. Again, the stock has moved 50% in basically from 7 to 29. So it's like it's not even 3 weeks. I mean, the stock moved 50% up and then it's wanting to move up out of this channel. It's been there once, it's been there twice. It tried to get there 3 times, failed, broke through very, very nicely, pulled back way back down here to 12, probably even below 12, and then just been consolidating. I have no doubt this thing's going to make a move up. You see this little wedge coming. There's some longer term action from back here. I can't say there's any like definitive pad. You could call it some kind of a convoluted triple bottom, but these charts don't really mean anything on the stocks, these algos, and the shorts are still working on this thing. I like the stock. If you see it, it makes these big moves up off the bottom of this channel. It's already made a big move up. I contend this is going to flip. This line is going to flip to support, and it's going to go, back up above this $18 level. I just think that's the way this is going. If you look at who owns this thing, institutional investors, it's still looking quite good. You see this little move up and pull back, but if you look at the long-term trajectory, it's not only at least linear from here, kind of moving up through here, but it's actually getting steeper. I mean, it's actually increasing, I would argue more than linear. I don't know what the right word is, guys. Sorry, I'm very, very tired somehow. I don't know. It's Friday yet. No, it's Wednesday, I believe. Wednesday. But an institutional ownership, of course, you could argue that insider ownership, continues to go up because it's stock-based compensation, but I don't think that's the majority of it. So insider shares, 17%, institutional shares, 52, 53%. So still very, very solid in that respect in terms of where the stock has been historically. For those of you guys who want to see the short today, short interest was pretty much flat today. The shorts have not been working nearly as hard on the stock as they used to. But the short interest is still quite significant at 13, almost 14% of the free float. Shares on loan are lower than the short interest. So that's when you expect to see that big move up. Remember, I used to go over this ad nauseum. You'd see them borrowing 250 million shares while shorting 175 million. Then you'd start to see that sharply reverse. The shares on loan would start to come down, down, down really rapidly. And the actual shares, sold short would remain sort of flat or go up slightly. Now, you're not seeing that pattern here because, look, the short interest is already far in excess of the shares on loans. There's already a bunch of short longs, naked shorting, what have you. But the bottom line is the stock is undervalued and shorted. And those are two things that are going to put upward pressure on the price. There's also institutions, I think, are continuing to buy the stock. Analysts that are even have a modicum of honesty, have any integrity, have, one honest testicle among their Apple bag. They're raising their price targets. Even touchdown Terry Mott Barclays, who's historically been a tepid, guy who likes to kind of shit all over SoFi. Not totally, but, raising from 11 to 12 and a hold, very tepid. Same with Timothy Chode, the Chode Meister, they used to call him back in the fraternity days. Over at UBS, UNS, he raised his price target from 14 to 15.50. Of course, you got touchdown Tim Switzer. He filled in, for that, bald mafioso who did the New Year's Day massacre on SoFi. Obviously not aligned or coordinated with any type of short sellers, hedge funds, anything like that. Just they all woke up on New Year's Day and decided to crush the SoFi stock. What's better than that when you're going through a rough divorce? But anyway, touchdown Timmy Switzer. Let's see what's going on here, guys. Sorry, I forgot to text not a lurker. Apologies, not a lurker. Let's see. I don't have Perrier. I've got a poor man's Perrier. It's a Saratoga. Anyway, so you have Kyle Peterson with Needham, $20, touchdown Danny Dolev, $20, Andrew Jeffrey, who's a perennial SoFi bull. You know, I don't know what his target price is right now. Probably come out with something. You got Mahir sell at 13 Bank. I think that was, somewhat of a valuation concern. Goldman Sachs, still shitting on the stock. Citizens JMP, got this big caveman over here, Devin Ryan. I don't know, he's got two first names, probably used to be a minor league baseball pitcher. 17, John Hecht, of course, another buy. You got the great Jeffrey Adelson from Morgan Stanley. I don't know where they found this guy, but he's awful. I mean, he moved from $13 to $6 in a sell. I don't know. I don't even know why I read this. Of course, the big Giuliano Bologna, he's still at $6. I don't know what noises my phone is making. But yeah, so I think Noto got upset, SoFi, like Vlad, to me, I'm comparing Noto to Vlad. I'm comparing these business models. I'm sort of looking at it like, to me, Vlad looks like the Captain Morgan guy, or I like Parker Schnabel from the Alaska Gold Rush series. Like, on this cleanout, Parker got $7 million worth of gold from his grandpa's trees. He's like, man, I got $7 million worth of gold. It's not that good, though. Plant was down. The fuck are you talking about? Anyway, yeah, or who else? Like maybe a poor man's Orlando Bloom. Maybe like if you needed a guy to stand in, like to adjust the lighting for Orlando Bloom during his Pirates, his Pirates days, you could get Vlad in there. But now I guess for me, what it comes down to is, so like if you're distilling life down to the three little pigs, like to me, Anthony Noto is the pig who built his house out of bricks. And the rest of these fin turds are straw, and they're sand, and they're sticks, and they're smoke, and they're mirrors, and they're just teabagging the investors. They're just tickling the old apple bag, because SoFi is thriving in all conditions. That's why it threw me so much when somebody as intelligent as Steve saying, hey, they're not a tech company because this is traditional banking and lending. Well, the fee-based stuff, laying off the loans, is really not traditional banking. It's really, if anything, it's some type of marketing referral income. I don't know what it would be technically categorized, but it's clearly a byproduct of SoFi's, prowess with technology. So I don't know how you can think that doesn't, strengthen their bona fides as a technology, just because it's not revenue coming into the tech side. To me, that doesn't really matter. And Tanner's arguing, hey, you have rapid growth at high margins. What do you care if you're selling, Swiss cheese or microchips? It's irrelevant. Like, there's because it's the future, because it's evaluations, because it's the multiples, but that doesn't matter in the long term. Those are the multiples they're giving you right now, because the market is not only short-sighted and stupid and reactive. That's over the short term. Over the long term, it sorts itself out, because you're going by money earned. SoFi's margins, they're even, people don't see Robinhood, they hit the tipping point where they're covering all their fixed costs, and basically net profits are starting to go up quickly. But SoFi is clearly just reaching that point. If you pay attention to the trajectory of their EBITDA, you can see that very, very quickly here, that trajectory is going to take hold with their net income. I mean, it's right there. SoFi is growing as fast as Palantir almost on the top line. Not that, Palantir's just grossly overvalued. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I'm looking at executives. Noto is responsible. He's humble. He gives direct answers. These other guys, it's like they're playing a game. I don't necessarily want a young founder who's, and it's what order you build things. Noto is like, he's talking to the Canadian FinTurd Mafia and other U-turders. He's saying, you guys don't even know what needs to be done. You're completely misunderstanding the situation. Noto knew that this loan platform needed to be built before a full option suite. It's going to make more money over time. And you can come back and do the options later because SoFi is gathering high quality members without the full option suite. SoFi is getting savers, Robinhood's getting traders. Over the long haul, I'd rather have the savers. Remember, now you can't argue with Robinhood's growth. You can't argue with the fact they've grown profits, they've grown assets under management. Some of their metrics, if you dig a little bit deeper, they're not that healthy, and they certainly won't be that healthy if crypto and all this other stuff goes to shit. How does SoFi keep growing and thriving even with rates not coming down? They do it through innovation. They do it through hard work, through superior business model, through superior management. If you go back and you just look at their trend, they beat almost every. Now, I know they sandbag, but revenues, just the growth is so disturbingly consistent. It's like serial killer consistency on that growth. These other companies, these other fintechs, I don't care if it's Upstart, Affirm, any of them, even Robinhood, they've had these big swings to the downside. This economy has insulated a lot of people from reality thus far. You know, people haven't stopped. What was extraordinary to me is even in the first quarter, with just all the uncertainty, all the craziness going on, SoFi's charge-offs still went down. The credit quality is incredible. That is also a testament to their technology. That's how they analyze people. It's not just credit scores. I know they talk about credit scores, but they have other systems in place. And I think that's why their charge-offs are so favorable compared to any other company. And that's why their partners continue to want to buy their loans. And that's why this loan platform is so successful, because, you know, they have the technology to do things that these other companies just simply wouldn't even dream of doing. The banking, Galileo, Technesis, building these platforms, these companies just don't do stuff like they're bragging about offering a credit card. That's when it's like offering a gold credit card with 5% cash back or whatever. It's not a moneymaker. It might sound good, and it might attract a lot of members, and that may or may not pay off in the long term. But what is your durable competitive advantage of all these other, companies? What's their secret sauce? How does Upstart survive against these banks spending these massive amounts? The Gary Garber guy from Howard Stern show who used to debate, Tanner. I know that wasn't his actual name, but kind of reminded me of Gary Garber from the Howard Stern. It's just, they don't make any sense. They're like, hey, you can't trust management. It's too. How many quarters does management need to prove it to you? Every single quarter since they've been public, they've been proving it to you. How much evidence do you want? Like, well, I need a 50-year track. Well, how can a 5-6-year-old company give you a 50-year track record? Then you never buy anything. Just buy General Electric and Johnson & Johnson. Buy buggy whips. That's a proven commodity. You know they work. Buy axle tongues or, I don't know. What's up, Paul Gardner? SoFi, the growth, it's not the speed is amazing, but the consistency, how they do it in high rate environments, adverse, uncertainty, you take away their student loan, they just continue to perform. That's why I say Anthony Noto is a very, very, very rare executive. And he's not one of these, cocky a-holes who comes out, who's just like, like Palantir, he's like, mic drop. I don't even know why we bother to do an ER with this type of, it's like, dude, you're not growing at NVIDIA rates and your cost, like Palantir, I'm just telling you, the valuation is ridiculous. And he's like, this idea that nobody else is ever going to do that. And they're going to make, billions and billions of dollars, maybe. But is that company worth, 20 SoFis? They're selling just a little bit. They're just like a year ahead in growth. I think SoFi will ultimately have better margins. I don't think that Salesforce is as easy to stand up as everybody says. And I don't think there's going to be a no competition business. It's like everybody right now is trying to catch up, with NVIDIA. AMD's coming for them. Intel's coming, just like Cisco's coming for them. Everybody's coming for them. That's what happens when you have this, you're sort of feasting on this huge margins, and then there's not competition will come. That's why you have to build a durable competitive advantage. That's the moat. That's the secret. Basically, what is it? Why can't another business just come along and do what you do better, cheaper, more well capitalized, and just take market share? Well, the reason is that's what SoFi is doing to the others. What SoFi is building a machine to take customers, business, and money from these mega banks. And that market is so incredibly huge. It's huge. Who would and what order did they go in? SoFi, okay, they lost crypto. It wasn't even a big business for them, but they lost it. Now they're just about to get it back just a couple years later. That's the ebb and the flow. That's the smart decision of building your house out of bricks. Okay, I don't believe some of the stuff from that interview that Robinhood is just going to go back and, start up banking and they're going to, knock off SoFi. That's the same thing people were saying about Apple and Goldman Sachs' brilliant retail banking product, Marcus, which is a screaming success this day. It does not have anything to do with our mom jeans wearing friend Marcus Lamontis from The Prophet. He believes in people, product, and process. Can anyone make any sense out of this idiotic show? But I'm talking, look at Noto's background. Look at his experience. Do you trust him or the Captain Morgan guy? And I know youth, innovation, it's important. And I know Anthony Noto's kind of an older guy, kind of a Grecian formula, gray temple, windbreaker, kind of wingtip kind of look. Guy looks like he buys slacks at Target. Kind of guy you might see in like a V-neck sweater. Kind of guy who trolls around country clubs looking for middle-aged financial reporters in pantsuits, asking them a bunch of softball can questions. So you can just repeat adjusted EBITDA, record growth. Why does Anthony Noto sound like Dustin Hoffman and Rain Man? Mini water. How many, that little chart you get in the DMV, like how many mini waters you can have and still be safe to drive? Those things never go up to my weight. Cuts off at like 240, says I can have 5 mini waters. Well, if I extrapolate up to my glorious, 300 some odd pounds, I believe that's about 20 stone, qualifies me for the Tabadaki Method scholarship, of course. What's going on, Maria Powell? How are you? Premium of the options here. The great premium of the option. The great D Visual Arts. Yeah, Hood is absolutely killing it. D. I have a little bit. I can be bitter, but I mean, they're doing great. But my point is not to bash Hood. My point is to sort of, if you look at Hood, sort of how the profits have taken off, how they reached a tipping point with a certain amount of revenue, cover their fixed costs. I mean, these fintechs are, basically machines to print profits because, they're capital light, they're resource light. They don't have any branches. It's basically software. I mean, yeah, there's people because they're paying people, but, so anyway, guys, I haven't had it. I read the ER and everything. Management raises guidance. We know that. Just incredible results with the loan platform. Net interest income growth, just, incredible net interest income. People were expecting that to shrink. People were expecting, charge-offs, credit quality, big problem. That actually went down in Q1. So what management's been saying about best in breed credit quality, it's bearing out. It's been proven. Where are these guys like the bologna sandwich saying the credit quality a year ago, saying credit quality, this thing's going to fall apart? He was absolutely wrong. But they don't come out and say that and say, hey, my price target at 6 or 9 is ridiculous because I was 100% wrong, because nothing I said in my hour and a half, incomprehensible, illogical, huge foreheaded, idiotic, rambling interview with that guy with those horrible hair plugs. I mean, allegedly. I mean, when these guys just come out and they just spew stuff and it just moves the stock and just turns out to be 100%, 1,000% wrong, do they ever come out and talk about why they were so wrong? Does Giuliano Bologna ever come out and just say, hey, I gave this interview, spewing this nonsense for 90 minutes. about how I knew, the loans were going to go bad and the opposite happened. No. Like Fletch, like takes a big man to admit when he's wrong. And I'm not a big man. Um, so anyway, guys, you've these numbers have been, flogged to death, but yeah, GAAP revenue was up 20%, but non-GAAP adjusted net revenue is up 33%, and adjusted EBITDA up 46%. Just incredible. Net income, the real net income, up 217%. Earnings EPS, of course, from 2 cents to 6 cents. This is just home run stuff for anybody else. But yeah, it's just a bank. It's just a bank. So 4 years ago, just a bank was doing what, 600 million. It's like, it's just a bank, but they're growing sales at an incredible rate, and the net profit is about to grow at that at a more incredible rate. So new record high with members, 800,000 new members. A lot of people were actually somewhat disappointed in that. They thought it was going to be just slightly higher, but about 11 million members right now. 1.2 million new products. So that's a nicer ratio of new members to new products, up 35% from the prior year to 16 million products. Doubled the revenue of the financial services through rapid innovation. SoFi's fast growing segment, $303 million, strong adoption of SoFi Money, rapid expansion of the loan platform business, et cetera, et cetera. If you know these names, these that they're working with, Blue Owl, Fortress, these are the biggest names in this, secondary credit markets and stuff. So they'll take everything SoFi can give them. That's another thing, that was just harped on over and over by these, sort of pasty eunuch types. I don't know. They like to just bash the stock. They're like, hey, nobody will buy their loans because they're talking. It's like the exact opposite's true. If you sort of analyze what the bears say about the stock and then you go back and you sort of back test it, it's been 100% wrong. 100% wrong. I've been right. I've been right the whole time. I don't care if the stock price has gone down from like 18. I'm still right. And it went down from 18 to 8. So what? I'm still right. It's going to be a better stock over the long term. When we're like, well, anything over 10 years you buy is going to go. That's absolutely untrue. SoFi has been the best stock over the last 5 years, one of the best stocks in terms of growth, and I think it will be over the next 5 years. I think it could grow more than Palantir. I think like, whoa, Palantir has no competition. That's debatable because there's a lot of companies doing AI, and there's a lot of companies I think that could come in and challenge them for a portion of that business. I think, yeah, there will be a core with their special sauce. People like, what are you buying right now? I mean, I was buying Google today, buying CRISPR today. I look for things that get hit irrationally. I've already said why I think the Google hit was CRISPR took a huge hit because their partner Vertex had a problem with a painkiller drug that has absolutely nothing to do with them. It's not even a CRISPR drug. It doesn't jeopardize their partnership with Vertex in any way, shape, or form. In fact, it makes it even more important. Should have sent their stock up. But again, that's how the market is just irrational. It's reactive. It's overreactive. It doesn't necessarily make sense. And if you're able to spot those opportunities and not be a fear-based investor, but be a logic-based investor who tries to take advantage of it, you're going to do quite well. If you sell the dip and smell the rip and you panic sell at $8.60, you're going to see the stock sitting at $13, up 50%. You're like, why did I panic sell? There was no reason to panic sell. The only reason to panic sell is panic. If you're going to sell, you want a logic sell, not panic sell. You want to sell because your thesis was wrong, or because something changed, something material changed, or because your situation changed. Maybe your risk tolerance, or whatever the case may be. Have a reason, have a plan. Be a logical investor, be a methodical investor. Channel your inner Spock, that cold Vulcan logic with those pointy ears. Oh, it's a bunch of crazy fat rednecks, isn't it, Billy Jack? What's up? Chartered Travel? How you doing? What's up, the great Nautilurker, the greatest wrench in the fintech industry? And no, you cannot buy the hat. This is a custom Nautilurker fit. I want to sell 10x. Why won't they hurry? Yeah, Carl, I know. It's a grind, but you're going to get FDA news one of these days, and that stock is going to absolutely skyrocket. That's my now they're going very slow because they just got a bunch of money, and management has basically been eating TV dinners and starving in a Motel 6 for the last couple of years. So I think they're enjoying a little fat of the lamb, if you will. Let's see. What's up, Paul Gardner? I definitely won't read all these comments. No, I might. There's not very many. Take like 2 seconds. What's going on? Jeff JR, the old apple bag. That's a euphemism for testicles, Jeff. Grandpa's old apple bag. That's because you get a little bit older. You wouldn't know this, being a seasoned bald gentleman there. I think that's probably your grandfather there with you. But no, yeah, the old apple bag is just a euphemism for sparsely haired testicles. So there you go. No one then. Guess who's back? Back again. Yeah, Poco's back. What's up, guys? Tom Chiankowski. Great to hear your voice again, too. They made $1 million. It's a jump to conclusions, Matt. There's all these conclusions, and you jump to them. By the way, some guy said his wife left him, and if I sing Total Eclipse of the Heart, he'll come back. So she'll come back to him. So I don't know if he's lying, but he's been emailing me like a psychopath. His wife was a huge fan of the show, and she left him, and then I stopped doing the show, and their entire lives have fallen apart. But he assures me that she will take him back if I were to sing my rendition of Total Eclipse of the Heart. I guess he saw me doing the song in Vegas at one point. No, I don't know. I still think the Dan band stole that from me. But no, it's funny. That was a great bit. The wedding was that the wedding, not Wedding Singer. What was that? Vegas. I can't. God, my brain is absolutely useless, guys. Don't get old. Don't get old. It's the worst thing you can do. Anyway. Oh, so yeah, I mean, go through this, guys. The brand awareness. This is what I was talking about. Accelerated loan in originations, continuing to expand products, further improve credit performance. Annualized charge-off rate actually decreased from 3.37 to 3.3 for personal loans, and from 62 basis points to 47 basis points for student loans. So the on-balance sheet 90-day delinquency rate of personal loans just decreased for the fourth consecutive quarter. So Noto told you, the bad stuff peaked like Q1 2024, and as usual, he's right. This is what essentially why the title of this video. What's up, Dominic Hallback? It's no Hollaback girl. He's Dominic Hallback. C-Bar, it was old school engineering indeed. C-Bar would be able to tell you Anthony Noto was not a finance guy. He's not an MBA guy. He was the head of his class at the military academy in engineering. I think it was mechanical engineering, but I might be wrong about that. But anyway, so when I listen to Noto and I see these women in pantsuit ask him these questions, he has a command of not only the material within his own company, the direction of his own company, how they're hedging, how they're planning for the future, how they're mitigating risk, how they're planning for the unknown, the unforeseen. It's almost like the way he talks about the company, the data, his depth of understanding, to me at least, seems 3 or 4 levels deeper than most CEOs who are on these sort of financial. Now, some of them are extremely technical, but I think a lot of them are sort of missing the forest for the trees, and that, yes, they're able to pump these companies, but how will these fintech companies survive? That's what Noto, in his angry Twitter rant, where he lashed out at the Canadian FinTurd Mafia and their weak-kneed pronouncements, he's basically saying, like, we're the only ones building something that is going to be able to last as these mega banks get their shit together. What do you think's going to happen when Capital One and Discover start spending a ton of money to wipe out, a firm and, not Robinhood, but Upstart, some of these buy now, pay later stuff? Why? This is just basic consumer installment lending. There is nothing like, whoa, we have a special algorithm that tells us when to, dip our nuts in the bronzer. It's like, well, I mean, we all have an algorithm. I got an algorithm that tells me, when I'm supposed to jog around the block. It doesn't mean I'm necessarily doing it. I don't care about your stupid algorithm. SoFi is a bank. Okay. SoFi is a lender, making money that way. And I know the technology side hasn't been growing like we wanted it to, hasn't been growing at all for that matter. The accounts have been down and revenues, were up 10% year on year, which is, as the great Steve pointed out, is basically a flaming bag of dog shit when you're trying to get a tech valuation. And to an extent, he's right. But I just think you're missing the point. The innovation is there. They're growing the important foundation that's going to allow them to survive in both good and bad conditions. And in good times, the money's going to absolutely flow in, the profits into this business model. And in bad times, the money's going to still trickle in. And they're not going to go out. Some of these guys, there's going to be consolidation in this industry, and SoFi is setting themselves up to be a winner. I don't know how you could not see that at this point. I mean, I was looking at stupid tip ranks, and you can look at the metrics, but I mean, look at these ERs going back. I mean, this just shows to 2021. I mean, I think these were both like write downs where they had these big misses. I mean, you're talking 20, if you sort of get past one-time items, it's like, I think it's like 20 some beats and one miss or something. And the growth has just been remarkable. I mean, when Noto got here, this company was, doing a few hundred million. Now you're talking over 3 billion. It's only a few years later. So I say, look at the actual growth of this company and compare it to companies that are getting much richer valuations. I don't care if it's Palantir. I don't care if it's, the argument would be, well, they're actually technology companies, so they're going to make better margins. I'm telling you guys, in the real world, standing up a complete sales force to push what Palantir is trying to push is expensive. And they're saying demand is rampant. Well, demand is rampant for what SoFi is selling too. If SoFi could generate more loans, people would buy the loans. Blue Owl, all these other companies, they all want. So why? I've been saying this till I'm blue in the face, because they have the best quality borrowers and the least defaults. So their loans are the most valuable on the secondary market, and everybody wants them, and everybody's willing to pay a premium for them. Institutional investors, insurance companies. Look at the companies that are buying. So it's like Transamerica and Fidel, all these just blue chip companies. They're not buying this. The other companies that are buying stuff from like a firm, it's a completely different standard. So it's like blue chip A grade debt versus cow chip dog shit wannabe. You guys ever watch that show about the Full Throttle Saloon? Yeah. I mean, I've never seen such slack-jawed turds. It's a great show, but like, we're there, damn little Papa Hole fun run. Everybody's like, I don't understand. Like, some reality TV is like not interesting. A lot of jobs are just not fascinating, but you're trying to shoehorn it into a reality thing. It's like, yeah, we run a bar. Another guy like, hey, I do off-road recovery. Like, okay, that's cool. I drive out in the middle of nowhere. I tow people back. And they just cut the camera a bunch of times. They're like, there's some kind of big danger happening. There's no dates like Ice Road Truckers. That whole show is just somebody driving a truck for 48 hours down a dark road. Nothing happens. Emily was approaching Dead Man's Gulch going 20 miles an hour. She downshifted, and the producer just like throws a GoPro out into a snowbank, makes it look like there's this big crash, and then she downshifts and the truck shimmies a little bit because it's on a fucking ice road. And then, she was able to negotiate the turn without a problem and head on back into Fairbanks or Whitehorse, where the fuck she was delivering that giant oil pipe. But what are these shows like celebrity show? I've had enough. I've just had enough of everything, guys. I'm just a bitter old turd. But tell me something I didn't know, right? And look at all the usual suspects from Seeking Alpha. SoFi Technologies, diversification strength, make it a buy. I haven't seen Steve Areno's article. I hope he wrote one. SoFi Technologies, supercharging growth via capital light digital platform. Value. These are all very important points. A capital light digital platform. MMMT. He's not MMMD. He's not candy flipping or anything. SoFi Q1 earnings only solidified my long-term thesis. And then you have the great Stone Fox Capital, SoFi firing on all cylinders, yet ignored. This is just one of those. The Bears have tried to make this stock invisible. They're trying to tell you it's not growing. They try to tell you nobody wants to buy their loans. They try to tell you their defaults are going through the. It's all the opposite of what's actually. Why do they have such a hard on for this stock? Is it because, I once said Jamie Dimon is certifiably not a genius? Jamie Dimon is no more a genius than I am. It's in a dominant market position. I got a bunch of blue hairs shuffling into those branches, putting their grandkids' Christmas money in there, laughing all the way to the bank. That duck-billed platypus, gray-haired look. I hope Tom Hanks plays me in the movie. Yeah, we all hope that. He's America's sweetheart. Forget Sandy Bullock. Tom Hanks is America's sweetheart. He's made some pretty shitty movies too, but not that many. Not that many. So you got Yanni Sumpa, why the market still doesn't. You notice the consistency yet ignored, why the market still doesn't get SoFi. SoFi Technologies doubling inside potential ahead thanks to neobank fintech's outperformance. I think everybody who sees it sees that SoFi is setting themselves up for the long-term win. I mean, if building durable competitive advantage, if building a sustainable moat was easy, everybody would do it. But think about it. Building a durable competitive advantage, a moat, is going to require hard foundational work. If companies just come in and say, hey, we're lending money on a Walmart checkout, is that Walmart can change who has that button on there tomorrow and your whole fucking company's out of business. There's no durability in your competitive advantage because you don't control your own debt. Why do you think SoFi brought everything in-house? That nobody's seeing what's happening here. This is a money spinner. You guys remember the old the great Dragon's Den, the British one. It's like, I love that Deborah Meaden. Like, you don't know your figures. You're a worthless piece of shit. Now get out of my sight. I'm a no. He's like, Theo Prophetus. He's like, I run hotels, mostly in Greece. You disgust me. I'm out. Duncan Bannatyne is like, I don't know, guys. This bit's horrible. Is that really tall guy, Peter? Is like, frankly, I hate you. I hate your ideas. I hate everything about you. However, if you can convince another dragon to come along and with me, I might be willing to give you half the money. Oh, in a stunning development, Peter, can't remember the guy's last name, but he's a big, tall, lurch-looking guy. He's like 7'6". He was very wealthy somehow, but he's offered him, I'll give you half the money. He would often offer people half the money when like all the other dragons were already out, or he knew that there was no possible way he would give him a deal. Just say he hated their idea and he hated them, but he was willing to offer half the money. And then often Duncan Bannatyne would come back in. He's like, my good friend Peter's decided to come in. Yes, I'm Scottish, so what the hell. So like anything Peter would punt half the money on, he'd just throw himself in. I don't think they ever made a deal. Those were then they had some random Australian pretty boy, had some hair gel, a couple of curls coming down. Just throw him into the mix. I don't really know anything about your product. Doesn't really make any sense to me. My wife looks like a supermodel. I'm out. Where's my jet? It's like, what are you even doing here? You don't even want to be here. It's like, yeah, nope. Just taking a little vacation to the UK. Thought I'd get a little extra fee here. Anyway, Carl, it was so funny because like he had absolutely no hope. And then Peter was like, I don't know if it's helpful, but I'll give you half the money. It's like, no, it's not helpful because everybody else already said they hated me. You're just trying to give me some false hope, you big lurch-looking giant forehead. Guy looks like he could be possibly related to Giuliano Bologna in terms of a forehead size. Don't sub and like, guys. Thank God, since I didn't do any shows for weeks and weeks, I've finally been losing subs. I hate you guys. I hate you. Don't subscribe. Definitely don't like. It's the worst thing you can do. Definitely don't give me a like, Paul Gardner. Um, I loved you in what's that show where you would drive that brown Camaro around Rockford Files? No, that was James Gardner. We do not need any more subs, not a lurker. I can't handle the subs I have. Let's see. I do love everyone. Theo Prophetus, he's like, I think your idea is horrible. You're never going to make it work. And I hate you personally. I'm out. Theo Prophetus getting very personal. There's absolutely no reason. Anyway, guys, you could tell there was really no reason for the show. I bought a bunch more SoFi. I'm going to continue to buy more SoFi. I believe Anthony Noto is, I just think they don't get any credit for what they do. He said it before. He's like, why am I going to push harder? He's like, we're not even getting paid for, all the wins we're getting. And he's trying to explain what durable competitive advantage is to a bunch of YouTubers who don't understand, quite frankly, what the fuck they're talking about. They're telling him his business about, don't tell me my business, boy. It's all ball bearings these days. Gordo, fetch your valves down here. I know where it is. Checking the luggage. At least SoFi is showing some life. Yeah, no, I completely disagree, Jeremy. I'm gonna go to SMCI. SMCI, they should have sold off, back down to 20. It's still holding the channel. It's like almost back up to 33. And quite frankly, swinging to sales of 4.6 billion. I mean, just 3 years ago, they were doing 3 billion, or 4 years ago. So I think given everything that happened in Q1, the tariffs, just the massive uncertainty, the threats of war all over the place from, Mexico, Canada, it's just Greenland. I mean, quite frankly, I thought they might swing to a loss. I think they're set up very, very well. They had to, and because some of those sales didn't go through, they had to write down some processors. To me, the fact that they're still profitable, I'm going to look at that growth. But yeah, it's obviously not what I wanted to see, these write downs. But the news that the chips might be coming off of the tariff list or something that came out today sent AMD and NVIDIA up decidedly. So I'm looking at the trajectory of this company, SMCI, and I don't think AI. The narrative is, hey, everybody's going to cut back on AI spending, and everyone's increasing or maintaining AI spending. So again, it's a false narrative. But yeah, the stock price hasn't been good. I'm not gonna try to sugarcoat that. It's been, but if you really look at that big, that big write down, not the big write down, but the big cut to guidance, and basically they came out a week ahead of this and took the medicine, and said they're going from 5.6 to 4.6 billion. It's obviously a huge cut, but the fact that with that kind of cut at the top line, they were still able to maintain profitability at a pretty decent profit. It wasn't like just a hair of a profit. I thought was actually pretty good. So I was pleasantly surprised. I've been pleasantly surprised the stock responded as well as it did. It's just institutions still want to own the stock because they know AI is not going anywhere. AI is taking over the whole world, and it's not going to stop. It's only going to accelerate. And SMCI is in a better position than anyone else to build these data centers rapidly, and they're going to capture that business. The fact that a lot of orders might have been delayed for 3 months or 6 months, I don't think changes the long-term growth story at all. I mean, but that's me. I bought more. I buy dips. I mean, maybe I'm just a cockeyed optimist. Maybe I'm a fool. Yeah. Let's see. We got Thomas Merrill, the king of English muffins here. Bought a lot more shares, around 10, many times, almost every. Yeah, I mean, god damn, they just took the thing down to 860, T-Mac. Erudition account. How do I spell that? Erudition? Or how do I pronounce it? You've already spelled it for me. Any updates on the Fireside Investor Day? Need White to explain how they're yeah, I mean, I would like, obviously, like everyone else, a lot more transparency. And that's one of the things the Canadians were talking about. Galileo is so much of a black box. It's really hard to tell where this onboarding is, where any of this stuff is going. It's he does not have a flux capacitor. I certainly don't. End of 27 price target. It's so hard to say. I mean, keep growing the company, 35%. I think if they're able to hit their EPS targets for 2026, this stock should be at least $30. If at the end of 2026, now end of 2027, I haven't looked at all their projections. Let's see. There's nobody watching. Let's see. SoFi 35. I mean, I'm saying, yeah, it could be 30 by the end of 2026. I think that move to 18, I think it wanted to go even higher. I mean, some of these values, it's just, if everybody started all of a sudden saying it was a tech AI company, they make decisions on loans with AI, they have a special algorithm, everybody could just as easily start advancing that narrative and see the stock, selling at, I don't know, 15 times sales or something, or 10 times sales. It's forward sales. I mean, to just go by EPS right now is just, it's just such like a misnomer or whatever you want. It doesn't make any sense. They just started making money. Okay, so if you want to go by what they're projecting for 2026, I mean, the stock is, I believe, grossly undervalued. And they made 6 cents this quarter. Let's see what they make next quarter. If they end up making 7, 8 cents, you're gonna start to see this thing snowball, where they might make that, 30 cents, whatever it is this year. I probably not, but I mean, next year, I know they were talking, 55 to 80 cents. You guys think that's realistic? I personally think it is. Because I think that the marginal dollars they're going to bring in with this growth, so much of that is going to go to the bottom line. It's going to shock people. But that's the whole business model. Knocking over mini waters. Yep, Chris, you can't ignore a big EPS number. You just can't, because it's money in your pocket. But I think the tech platform is doing a lot of important work behind the scenes to make this loan platform possible and make the financial services, side grow like they're growing. It's not in a vacuum. It's not like they're over in this vacuum in Utah not doing anything. Just Anthony Noto and team are deciding strategically what to build first, what's important, where to allocate scarce resources. I'm with you, Paul. My buy-in level is stronger than ever. Guys, we're coming up to an hour. I got to get the hell out of here. I want to do a video later about NEO. I want to do SMCI. I want to talk about UBX. I want to talk about 10X. So many guys. CRISPR, the fall was illogical. I believe Google, the fall was illogical. I bought B of A on the crash. I was buying a lot of stuff on the crash. Just done, very, very well. But obviously other things have been dogging me. It's been impossible to, say you're right on this market. It's just dragging us, jerking us all over the place. Anyway, guys, let's see. I got to run. It's been great seeing you guys again. I am going to go back and, watch. I hold all my SMCI, massive loss, move to SMCX. I own 4,000 stocks. SMCX, I will sit on. Yeah, I really, really believe if you are patient, I know people are like, oh, you're just saying that because you're down. I'm not. I'm looking at the growth trajectory. I'm looking at where I think AI is going. I mean, one of the reasons I'm so big on Google is like people talk about Tesla having data from like full self-drive. Think about all the data Google has through dash cams of YouTube and everything else, all the other, think about all the miles people have put in through Google Maps, all the GPS data they have, all the route data they have. They know where you're going. They know what you're thinking. They know what you do. They own more data. Google has so much more data, magnitudes more data than Tesla. It's like, and I like Tesla. I like the robot business. I like all these things. And I'm a big Tesla investor still. I don't have as many shares as I used to have, but I still have a lot. It's still one of my largest positions. I think I actually have more. I definitely actually have more SoFi than Tesla now. So I think SoFi is a little bit more undervalued, but they're both top 5 positions for me. Microsoft still number 1. Anyway, guys, a lot of people like sound, Billy Jack. I don't personally own it, and I have not done enough research. Isn't Google? They may be forced to sell off some of it. I think what you're going to find is those parts would still be extremely profitable, and shareholders might actually come out way ahead in that breakup. That's what I'm hearing from the smart money. Gemini is free for college students. They hoard knowledge. Gemini works incredibly. Like, I think Google is quietly winning the AI race. I mean, I know they're shooting it out with Microsoft and Meta and stuff, but anyway, guys, really appreciate you. Yeah, people love Rocket Labs. I saw some of the Canadian guys talking about that. It was spent a lot of time with a lot of their teams. You're welcome, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. Would like to thank the great Alberto Bertie Avlitz. Would like to thank the greatest fintech wrench in the history of YouTurd, the great Nautilurker. The man's out making pancakes for college kids, and he finds time to moderate this horrible show for me, and we just can't thank him enough. I want to thank Alberto and Nautilurker. Anyway, guys, want to thank all of you for watching. It's been the honor of my life to entertain all of you turds here today. I didn't think I really made that much sense, but hey, it's my first show back, guys, and I'm excited to pump SoFi again. It's just, this stock it's one of those ones where, the market just has decided it's going to F with this stock. And they say a bunch of stuff that's not true. Maybe there was of course you're going to short the stock when they cancel all the student loans. Student loan company, right? But the thing is, Noto is just too quick for you. It's too clever for you. It's too good for you. Who do you think's going to win in a battle of wits? Anthony Noto versus David Chiavarini.